There's the inside of my control room. Right at the bottom there's a conduit coming up with a cover. That conduit runs underground and goes out to the middle of my track display. Right there. So today, we're going to start that wiring. This is what's called a snake. We're going to take our snake, we're going to run it down our line, our pipe. If all goes well, it should go to the other side. When this pipe was installed, it was covered when it was installed. It was taped and sealed sitting. So we just dead ended. So either we hit a seam or we're going to be popping out of there. Get my screwdriver. Why'd I open it second? No real purpose. I opened it. I could have opened it first and then tested. But we're opening it now. Why is this up off the ground? I plan on building a little building over it. Inside the building, I'll have the accessibility of getting more things. Open it up. There's my cord. Now we can run some wires. Okay, so here's the plan. We have colored tape. Each wire I run is going to have a different color. That way I don't get it mixed up from one end to the other. Second thing, we have these connectors. Each connector is going to have one side. Connector on side A, connector on side B. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That leaves 2. Wire, 100% copper, 18, 10 conductor. That's the wire we're going to use from side A to side B. These already have wires on them. These are going to be mounted up here. So when you hook up your switching mechanism to switch things, turn lights on, all that, you're actually going to be doing it inside this room. Inside this room is going to be this. We'll make the first one red. So I'm going to take my red tape, and I'm actually going to tape it to the bottom of this. Up the sides, across the bottom, up the other side. When I look at it, you can definitely see that it's red. Do the same thing to this one. Tape across, and it's red. Now let's pick blue. Now I'm going to do the same thing with my blue tape. This is the one that's going to exist inside the room. Blue tape across, up the other side. Blue tape across, up the other side. Why do I have these? I have these because an old pool heater, remember I do pool stuff. An old pool heater has these at both ends, and that's how they communicate all the wires. And they have little labels on them and all the wires. So when I deinstall a pool heater, because it doesn't work and we're throwing it out, I take the connectors off So I have my wire. I'm going to start off with the blue wire. Figuring enough to make my connector ends. I'm going to put a swirch of blue around my wire. Now what I'm going to do, take my wire and go to the other end. Okay, so I'm at the other end. Just in case you're wondering, taking my wire, going to this end, I'm going to take my wire spool, I'm going to take the end off, the very, very end. So a bunch of extra wires. Take a couple of these wires, put it on, spool it around, and put a piece of tape on it. I'm only putting the tape on the end wires because I don't want them to get stuck someplace. Now as I pull this up, you want to start it in the hole a little bit. Now we're going to pull it out. If we just pull on it, remember if you have any resistance, you stop, because there's a good chance your wire might be tangled up at the other end. And you have to untangle it, and you do not want to pull too hard. Okay, we have our wire out. Now we're going to untape it. Undo it from our paper. And we're going to run it through a little bit of conduit that's here still. That gets us up and out of here. We have another hook here we're going to run it through, which gets us over into this hole. And now we know there's our wire. Here's our first wire, blue. So we're going to take our blue set, and we have our wire set. We'll skin it back all the way to the color. Do not push too hard, because you'll actually cut the actual wire. This covering is extremely thin. If you get the same wire I got, which is great for this, but you got to make sure, since it's 100% copper, it will break. So we take our wires and separate them. Everyone. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do this at the other end. So hook up the wires at this end. Put this in. It's going to show me all the colors and in the order that they are. I am then going to take my phone camera, take a photo of it, and use that at the other end so I can specify where the wires are. We're doing blue. We have blue. I got to take my tape and put it on the other end to make sure that it stays blue. We have our small little screwdriver. Tighten every wire up. Doesn't really matter the order because this is the first one. Now when we do the second one, which would be the red one, we probably want to stay in the same order. No, the wires that are coming out and going under the ground are not the same color as the wire that's coming out and going to things. That's why this is being placed where I can see it. Because I know the wire I'm using to plug in to the actual item that I'm switching is not the same color wire that actually is underground. So I got to look and see which wire it is, and then hook it up. Easy way to verify as far as left, right, right, left. If you notice, one side of this tape is longer. So with one side of the tape being longer, one side of the tape is longer. I know this should be orange because tape is long, tape is long. I'm actually going to take this into the tape. I'm going to loop it over so it always stays there. That's going to give me my pin number 1. On IC chips, all the IC chips have a pin 1. Everything works off pin 1. My connectors are going to have pin 1. That's the side that tape sticks out. Now, if you haven't noticed, I think I counted earlier on camera, I have more connectors than I do wires. So I'm going to do this one all. Then I'm going to do the other one all. I'll have 2 wires in place. Then I'll run a third wire, which will probably be white in color, so it doesn't have any color at all. Or white in color has every color. And I'll take 2 wires out of this and put here, 2 wires on the other one, and that'll still give me 5 wires that I have left for something else. So these are here. We're coming out. Run these sideways. Loop them around. Figure I have 2 of these. So we'll put 1, we'll go right here. So I have my screws. I'll put a screw at each end to hold that down. So we screwed that down. So that's actually screwed on. And I have enough to go to any of my wires for any of my switches. So that's the first one. Since I'm in here, I'm going to run my next wire. So I'm going to put my snake through, throw the next wire through. Take my phone, take a photo of number 1. Separate them out so I can actually see them. Photo number 1. Do the same colors on that one. Let's leave the phone here. Now we go back to our pit. You notice there's water inside that top cover. I didn't put it on tight because I'm just covering it. But we had a monsoon here. So yes, you always want to leave a little extra. You never want to cut it real close. So we'll cut this off. Take this wire, put in. Hook this one up. Hook it to the left. I'm doing this a little bit differently. This one goes to the left and up. This one goes around. And tie it up just like that. Forgot my tape. Tape it up. One quick tape around. Untangle a bunch of wire, which should be enough to go in there. We'll leave the camera on this side this time. That way you can see it going in and untangling when I pull my pull wire through. Now you notice that loop that just went in. That loop went in and it's looped inside the top, inside here. So that loop going in is going to cause my wire to stick. Remember, we have blue and we have red. So I'm taking my tape out here, and I'm going to tape this blue. Very obvious that this one is blue. And very obvious that this one is red. I should have saved some time, disconnected the other end of this and put my cord through, but I'm only 10 feet away. It's not like I have to run all the way through the place to get to it. So you can have a preset size. Run it through your hole. If you're doing the same thing as me, then cut it off. Put a little loop at both ends, or a little tie at both ends so you can tie wire up real easy, and just leave it in the hole all the time. That way, whatever you pull, you go to the other side, pull it out, put it back in. And that way, you don't have to find your snake. I think they're like 10 bucks. I'm going to go and buy one. So I will have a snake that's always in my hole over here. Just to make sure, I'm putting white on this one. I'm going to make the outlet on these a little bit longer because I have to go in two directions. So let's put white on this one. Let's not leave my blue tape here. Skin the end. Put 3 or 4 through. Tie it up. Bring them back. Tie it around, bring those through, and stretch this out. The proper way of doing this is you unspool it by walking back, turning the spool. That way it comes out and it's straight. It doesn't get curved. See how it's kind of straight since I unspooled it by walking it back? Now I'm going to be pulling out my white wire. Disconnect it. Pull up enough. Put it through my conduit. I'm going to put grass seed down to put grass and little plants and flowers. But I can't do that until I actually have the train in. Otherwise, I'm digging up everything I'm planting. So until I can do that, I have to deal with mud everywhere. Okay. So now I'm doing my red. Cutting off the wire. Pulling it out. Might be a little hard to pull it out because you bent the end when you ran it. If it is hard, just strip it off. Don't take a chance of trying to pull it and stripping the whole wire and end up with one wire that's easily shorted off with whatever's next. Separate them. The end is all bent, so we're going to cut off the end. Then we'll lightly, if you go to strip it and you're trying to strip the end with your pliers because you don't have a wire stripper that has an actual size for the wire you have, that's the best way of doing it. Getting a wire stripper that has 18 on it. This only goes to 16. Other wire strippers are at work. So if it's hard for you to strip and pull the wire off, you're pushing too hard. It should be real easy to strip. If you look at the wire and it's nice and shiny on two sides, that's because you're stripping it and pressing too hard. So remember, we have our block and we have our tape. We're going to take our tape, we're going to bend our tape over, and that is number 1. Now, because of the way we tape these, number 1 is opposite of that side, which is going to work out kind of nice, having all the extras right dead center. So now we use the same color code that we used in the first one, which I don't have to look at my phone because it's sitting right there. And the extra long tape is pin 1. Just like in electronics and circuits, does not matter if it's top, bottom, left, or right. When you look at it, wherever pin 1 is, that's what you start with. In circuits, you're actually going, it's been a long time, I believe it's clockwise. 1, and then you count 2, 3, down the clock. I might be wrong at that, but I don't do electronics anymore. So it doesn't really matter if it's wrong, but that's what I think. Here you're doing a straight line. So you're keeping the colors the same, because this one is reversed to make it easier to figure out what side you're on. However, at the other side, I believe each color is going to have its own little side of the box, so they're all going to be in the same direction. So they're not going to be reversed on the other side. So right now we should be fast forwarding. red, let's see, pink, yellow, white, and yellow, orange, pick pink, and white. These are the extra wires. So I'm going to wrap them around the main wire so they don't just stick out everywhere. So everything's done. Now I'm getting my phone. My phone right here. And I'll start with my blue one. Now these are different because there's no wires on them, so you have to make sure you're putting them in the same order, in the same way, because you want to match it the same. And then you put your wires in. And match up all the wires. And again, we're probably going to go to fast forward. I like spinning these. As long as they stay straight, make them straight, put a little bit of spin, and that will be attached to the wall someplace. And now I got a live sample. Do the same thing with my red. Remember, the red matches the same way. So we'll match it the same way here. Now this particular wire, the pink and the white, are really hard to tell the difference. So just be careful with your colors. According to where the wire is made, there might not be a red, there might be a dark pink and a light pink is one thing I've seen a lot. Now, this box has two issues. If you notice the smaller box, so if I was to take these and connect them to the sides of the wall, I'll be trying to get a screwdriver in there to tighten things up, to move things around. It'd be really annoying. If I connect them to the top of the box, well, That should be obvious. Now I got holes as things get older, and the silicone or whatever used to seal that hole that's loose, it's going to leak water, and now my whole train is going to be shorted out, causing a big issue. Rather not put holes in my box. And yes, I will be tightening it down all the way this time instead of just laying a cover on like I did last time. That was what I would call a stupid mistake by me. And don't do that yourself. Don't make the stupid mistake. I'm going to leave this box open. It's not supposed to rain today now. I'm going to leave it open. Dry out with a towel the water I see, and the rest of the water should dry up by itself. So, the question I have is how? I am going to choose to have these in the box just free. Now, doing that gives you two issues. You're going to be moving it around a lot, so you have to make sure you don't move it on the wire because you'll break the wire. Because there's a copper wire. Great conductors, but if you bend them too much, they'll break. That's why I like spinning it a little bit, tightening it up some, and I can now hold it by the wire and do my work. I don't have to hold the big wire. I don't have to work by individual wires. Now we do have these 4 wires. And number 1, start out with orange and white again, because blue was the first one. So blue has the orange and white, repeating the pattern. And then red has the yellow and pink in the same order. The first ones, second ones. And that's going to connect the 4 of those together. Now when it comes to the second set, meaning the big wires I showed you, they have different wires. They are going to be connected to the side of the box, and they are not going to be used much. To begin with, they're going to be in the box floating until everything gets hooked up. But then everything's going to be kind of connected to each other. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these back to back. Tuck all my wires in, and I'm going to tape them just like that. So all the wires will support all the other wires. One side would be red, one side will be yellow. So when I run the wires to this box, have enough extra wire so they put them together. There's a possibility when I completely get done setting up all the train track, I might actually attach them to something. Maybe a piece of wood I pull out or something in there. But that's it. We have our connection. In the room, out here, hook up lights, hook up switches. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 switches. 13 switches would be 26 wires. 10 and 10 is 20. I have 24 wires. So one of the switches somewhere are going to connect to another switch. So we have 2 switches doing the same thing at once. Okay, so now I'm changing gears. We're going to be pulling in the other direction. The reason for that So now we're pulling our cords to the train. There's our train cords. Our train cords are from, I am able to say it because it's a fact, Hayward Pool Lights. Because Hayward Pool Lights actually use 14 gauge high copper marine wire. So needless to say, it is really good wire to go 15 feet or more. So, as I've said in past videos of past projects, I have saved all the pool wire that was halfway decent when it comes to pool lights. Because it's designed to be underwater, it's designed to get wet, it's designed to be in weather, and all those good designs do great when you want to run wire all over your yard. So in this case, we're going to be running we have track 1, 2, 3, 4. So I got to run 4 of these wires. We actually have 4 real tracks. We have a bunch of little tracks for just small things. So the small thing tracks are going to be a different wire. It is a 4 conductor wire. I'm going to run through, which gives me 2 track switches per conductor, per wire it is. There's 4 conductors on it. This wire only has 2 conductors. Doesn't even have a ground because it's designed specifically for a purpose similar to what we're using it for. So we're going to run 1 wire at a time. We have an 1.5 inch conduit, which means there shouldn't be an issue getting the wires in. These wires just have to be untangled. That's what I'm doing now, untangling all the wire. First wire done. Untangle it. Go to the next wire and the next wire. Get them all done. We'll tape down a bit or we're never going to touch it. That way it's always going to be taped in the wire. So we can always figure out which wire is which. Then we'll tape at the end, right below the end. We're probably going to strip it. Run the wire up our conduit. And run it through our link that we have here. We'll just let it hang for now. And that first one was white. So let's hook white on to make sure we keep our colors. Okay, so now I got my 3 main track wires in. They go from here to out there. And I use 1 roll of wire. I only got 8 more rolls left. And we did green, we did white, and we did red. So those tapes I'm going to put away. Now I got yellow, blue, and black. So for the next wire run, to go from here to outside, I'm going to use speaker wire. I have 4 conductor speaker wire. That's what I'm going to use to run outside. Because it's not for a track, it's only for the changer, extensions, and the parking track. Also, you have to understand I only have so much space, and looking at this, if I was to run the big wire out from inside to outside, I would quickly run out of my space. I do not want to run out of my space. I want to still have extra, so I can run a couple extra wires if need be. Speaker wires, power wires, who knows? I'm not going to limit myself. I'm not digging everything up to put a 2-inch pipe in. I have 1.5 inches. The outside of this is very thin. The wire connector is really thin. I took and spliced it just by that little bit I did. It's not as strong, but it's only for the movement of trains on the switcher tracks. Every switcher track is going to have just an AB switch. The AB switch is going to switch it from track on the left side, track on the right side. Such as that big parking track in the middle is going to have a switch to go from track A to track B. It's not going to have its own. So I don't need its own speed. I can always switch off the main track and then move stuff around, or switch off the second track, move stuff around on my switcher track. Again, it has a wire going to it, so if I want to make a controller later on, I easily can, because the wire does already exist. It's just how the switching system is working that will change. So the same space, I get double the wires. This wire is yellow. So it's filling up for sure. Having a problem getting my snake through for the last wire. I think I just went through. So this is about my last wire. Shorten that up. Up, over, down. Cut it off right here. Mark it yellow at the end. I go a couple different places, so we're going to put the yellow back. Big yellow. It's one wire. So I've used almost all my colors. Last one left is blue. So this is the blue wire. Now I just ran all my wires through. So I have my control wires and I have my track wires. All run through to hook everything up. So it's filling up for sure. Having a problem getting my snake through for the last wire. I think I just went through. So this is about my last wire. Shorten that up. Up, over, down. Cut it off right here. Mark it yellow at the end. I go a couple different places, so we're going to put the yellow back. Big yellow. It's one wire. So I've used almost all my colors. Last one left is blue. So this is the blue wire. Now I just ran all my wires through. So I have my control wires and I have my track wires. All run through to hook everything up. Okay, so let's go into the room. Well, I still have battery power. This is going to be my control system. Here's my master track 1, master track 2, master track 3. This is also going to put out the power because this is the right voltage to set to go to the big brain. Switching, master track 1 and 2 both have remotes which will cover the entire property. So I could turn it off at any point, search something out, fix the problem, turn it on when remote. Most people with trains know what this is. So that's going to be enough power to cover anything I want. Over here is going to be the control panel, which is going to probably start at the window and work its way down on an angle. That's why I'm going to set it. That's why there's a hole right here. That's why all these wires are here, so they're be able to go directly to all the switches on the control panel. I have rotary switches that's dual rotary. So every track will have 4 options on it. So I can take any one of these and put on every track. Or I could take all the tracks running standard trains, not massive trains, and run them all off that. which is a wireless control, which I can carry with me. So the whole train can go from manual, analog to digital with just flipping a rotary switch. There is a safety on the rotary switches I've installed. So I have to turn off the main power before the switch will go past. So I cannot jump from one to the other directly. There is going to be a safety on the system because you can't mix these two systems. You'll have major issues. So that is, as you see, I have my power. 1, 2, 3, 4. All 4 systems will have their own power. You already know about the breaker. In case this is the first video, everything's hooked up to a breaker with ground fault. And all those are hooked up again to my kill switch. Push the kill switch, everything dies. Reset the kill switch, comes back on. So if there's an issue, I just have to get to this kill switch and everything will die and all the trains turn off. So that's the end of my video for today. We know everything fits. At this point, I'm not going to leave these in here, obviously. I'm going to put them back in the shed, locked them in the house. Master track switch. Turn it off. Now I have no power going to this. We did our wiring. Covered it up. We did our start of track. I got to put my little boxes over all my switches because they're not waterproofed yet until they get working. We did our box, which I'm going to leave open to get any water that's in the cable out because it's going to be really sunny today. There's all our wires. We have our 3 master track wires, which are the grays. Our green, our red, our white. And then we have our yellow and blue for the other 4 switching tracks. Hope this has been exciting and interesting or just watchable. I'll get better as you go on.